Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. She's actually at a movie this afternoon. She took our daughter to go see, I want to say Parent Trap 2. I guess it's Freakier Friday. They went to go see Freakier Friday, so you might get a review of that this week. I don't know. Hey, we got some big news. Gina Carano has settled with Disney, or rather, Disney has settled with Gina Carano. Now, for those of you who don't know who Gina Carano is, you haven't been watching our channel very long, but she was on The Mandalorian. She played Cara Dune. She was terminated by Lucasfilm, apparently over some tweets that Lucasfilm said were disgusting, abhorrent tweets. And it was basically about like all of us, getting along and not, ratting out your neighbors. But, it was the zeitgeist of the day. But she was terminated. And I think viewership took a decline, took a massive hit on The Mandalorian after she got gone. A lot of people were disgusted by her treatment. She didn't really say anything that was out of turn. In fact, Pedro Pascal has said a lot worse stuff than Gina Carano has, but he was on the left and she was more right-leaning. But yeah, we're gonna read this. I just saw the headline come through on my email, so I'm probably a little late to this. It's been out for a couple hours now. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So I got a chance to meet Gina Carano, thanks to Drunk 3PO. That would have been last fall. Very nice. She was very, very nice. And yeah, she's really been through it. I mean, this is horrible. Now, I was kind of hoping that this would go to Discovery, so Disney would have to sweat a little bit, but I think maybe both parties just want to get it over with. I mean, obviously Disney was in the wrong, or at least Lucasfilm, I believe, was in the wrong here for firing her the way they did. Because again, it wasn't like this was the company mandate. It was very selective. Like, she couldn't say what she said, but other people who had other political beliefs could absolutely say whatever the hell they wanted to with impunity, including, Pablo Hidalgo and other people working at Lucasfilm. There was like no there was no repercussions for anything that they said or did. And that was what everybody's trying to point out, that, just it wasn't fair. And the zeitgeist is changing, right? The pendulum has swung back hard. I mean, look at the election map. If you need a better indicator of where things are right now. In fact, I'm going to do a Minus podcast here pretty soon. I'm going to record pretty soon talking about how every little thing is going to be all right. In fact, the media companies are doing the best now are more right-leaning. So yeah, and intentionally antagonizing and demonizing conservatives is not going to fly anymore. I'm just saying, I would like things to go back to normal. Like a nice shade of purple. That would be great. But the only purple is going to be people holding their breath, right? And being like, I'm going to turn blue in the face until you get rid of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So anyway, let's come from the Hollywood Reporter. Disney Lucasfilm settled lawsuit from Gina Carano over Mandalorian, firing the actress accused the entertainment giant of discriminating against her for voicing certain opinions on hot-button issues. Oh, they absolutely did. Again, it wasn't evenly enforced. If they had fired Pedro Pascal or fired, half the cast of the MCU for taking a contrary position, it was also a hot position, Mark Ruffalo or, whoever. And they didn't do that. Disney and Lucasfilm have settled a lawsuit from Gina Carano, who accused the studios of discrimination and wrongful termination over her firing from The Mandalorian. In a statement, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said, with this lawsuit concluded, "Oh, interesting. We look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future." Well, now, okay, that is a surprise. So they got to bring Cara Dune back. They got to do the Rangers of the New Republic. That would be interesting. In a statement, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said, with this lawsuit concluded, yeah, we look forward to it. Oh my God. Okay, we've reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the company. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. Yes, I don't think there was a single person who worked with her on the set of The Mandalorian that had a bad thing to say about her, including the late, great Carl Weathers. Actually, even people who had different political beliefs. I think Giancarlo Esposito I think he leans more left, and he said she was a class act. Pedro Pascal spoke highly of her, and we know where he's at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she couldn't have been a horrible, terrible person. I think there was some activist working at Lucasfilm that didn't like her, that didn't want her there, and caused issues. And I hope, I'm going to be honest, I hope that person got gone. I know a lot of people have gotten gone, like from the story group or whatever. I hope that person got gone. Terms of the settlement announced on Thursday weren't disclosed. In a lawsuit filed last year, Carano alleged she was fired for voicing right-wing opinions on social media and sought a court order that would force Lucasfilm to recast her. Elon Musk making good on a promise to foot the legal bills for users who claim they've been discriminated against due to their activity on his platform, helped fund the suit through X. Yeah. Do you really want to go up against Elon Musk in court there, Disney? I don't think so. He's already got an axe to grind with him anyway. The legal action came after Lucasfilm announced in 2021 that Carano would not return to the hit series after sharing a post in which she said, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Yeah, and that was it. In 2021, you were not, especially on Twitter, you were not allowed to have any contrary opinions on anything. It had to be whatever the hive mind on Twitter said. And all she's saying is it's very easy to target groups of people when they've already been demonized. And your neighbors are doing the job that the government would do. The government doesn't have to lift a finger. So, and she's correct. And we actually had people after the fact say similar things. Was it Susan Sarandon? I want to say there's another actress who said something very similar or paraphrasing that. And that was fine. That was okay. If they say it, but they don't like her. Somebody at Lucasfilm had it in for her. It was the latest in a long string of posts in which the former MMA fighter drew the ire of social media users for positions seen as right-wing on hot-button issues. Carano, who was dropped by her agency following the controversy, didn't respond to a request for comment on the settlement, previously mocked government mandates to wear masks during COVID, and falsely suggested that voter fraud occurred during the 2020 presidential election. That's not why she was fired, though. It wasn't for that. It was for the other thing where they basically said she was like making fun of Jews. Maybe because it's in vogue now. Maybe because that's in vogue now with some people. I don't know. According to the complaint, Disney and Lucasfilm harassed and defamed Carano, who was paid $25,000 per episode as a guest actor and later negotiated a one-time $5,000 bonus for refusing to conform with their viewpoints on issues relating to Black Lives Matter, preferred pronouns, and disproving claims of election interference. While she was allegedly fired for her cultural and religious beliefs, Carano said that the entertainment giant turned a blind eye to her male co-stars who allegedly made it. I love how they just keep throwing allegedly, who allegedly made offensive and denigrating posts directed toward Republicans. She pointed to Pedro Pascal's 2017 post comparing Trump to Hitler. Yeah, and that continues to this day. So many people working with Disney on Marvel and Star Wars projects constantly on social media talking about Trump, comparing them to Hitler, comparing Republicans to Nazis. It's an ongoing thing. And you wonder why your box office is in decline, Disney. You wonder why people are tuning out. You wonder why they're unsubscribing from Disney Plus, right? Just make entertainment, right? And honestly, you need to gag your actors. You need to gag your directors because they do a lot of damage. I did the video the other day talking about the King of the Hill reboot, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. I'm going to be honest. I've been very, very busy this week, but I have talked to people who have, and they said it was good. They actually said it was good before it dropped on Hulu. I knew some people who saw it early and they said, no, it's actually pretty good. However, the showrunner said some things in an interview that I'm like, yeah, hey, if I didn't already know this show was pretty good, I would probably tune out. I probably wouldn't bother because of some of the stuff you're saying. It's like, it looks like it's going to be loaded politically and the idea, you know what I'm saying? So Disney, do yourself a huge favor and tell everybody to shut up. That's what you do. Just tell everybody, but they're very selective in it, right? Carano was terminated from The Mandalorian, as well as other titles in the Star Wars universe, including Rangers of the New Republic, shortly after declining to meet with Kathleen Kennedy and 45 employees who identify as LGBTQ+. Yeah, I knew that they were going to like haul her in front of the tribunal. 45 people were going to shame her. I wouldn't do it either. I'd be like, you know what? You got an issue. I'll talk to my boss about it. But like, what was so weird about it is she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, and that was bothering a lot of people. But people working at Lucasfilm, actual executives at Lucasfilm, staff at Lucasfilm, did not put pronouns in their bios either. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things about this that it was never going to hold up in court. So they're better off just settling. Last year, the court declined to dismiss the lawsuit, rebuffing arguments from Disney that has the right to not associate with talent who imbue the Star Wars series with views that could turn fans away from the show. Then you need to fire Pedro too. You need to fire Mark Hamill. You need to fire, you know what I'm saying? So people have tuned out from Star Wars. I would laugh my ass off if they actually went forward with the Rangers of the New Republic show and it wound up being the highest viewed Star Wars show on Disney Plus. I would laugh my ass off. Because they're all like, we're afraid that, Gina Carano is going to poison the well and blah, blah. No, you did it to yourselves. Actually, I would say a lot of people tuned out from Disney Plus and from Disney Plus Star Wars because you fired Gina Carano. It was a very ugly firing too. Like, she found out from social media. And I'm telling you, there were probably some rogue employees at Lucasfilm, some activists that need to be shit canned. But to haul her in front of 45 employees as she's a guest star. And no offense to Gina, but you really, for being in Star Wars, that's not a lot of money. Like, she wasn't even getting paid enough to put up with this shit. And it did hurt her career after that. It definitely did, because, once you've been like blacklisted in Hollywood, then all these other studios aren't going to call you either. They're gonna be like, well, we can't work with you because you're a Nazi. And then some bitch on Bill Maher, I forget her name, but she was calling her like a jackbooted thug. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, what hole do these people crawl out from underneath? So yeah, they're saying, yeah, we don't mind. We'll work with her again. And this is, everything is changing. Like, Disney now is like, hey guys, we gotta make money. Tim Allen, that was another one where there were people at Disney. And again, Disney's a very compartmentalized company. Somebody's worked around it. I'm telling you, they're very compartmentalized, but like Pixar obviously does not like Tim Allen, but they're going to have to work with him on Toy Story 5 because they got to make money. Lightyear was a huge failure. I think if Tim Allen had been Buzz Lightyear, it would have done better. I'm going to be completely honest. It would have done a lot better. They didn't even give him a cameo because I think there are people at Pixar whose feelings were hurt that Tim Allen, the conservative, dare be in their movie when freaking Toy Story built your studio, bitches. You have your jobs because of Toy Story. Buzz Lightyear was a huge revenue driver. He got his own spinoff. Woody didn't get a spinoff. They didn't do a Woody's Roundup cartoon, did they? No, they did a Buzz Lightyear of Star Command cartoon because he was the cooler of the two characters. So things are changing. But yeah, anyway, they brought him back and they're doing stuff with him now too. So I think it's, like I said, you can't, as a company, you can say, hey, I don't want you getting overly political on social media and have people sign something that says that they're not going to get overly political on social media, but it has to be evenly enforced. And I think that's where she had them, was that it was very easy to prove that this was a one-way street. It was only conservatives that were being demonized. And right now in this climate, especially when Bob Iger's trying to get favors from Trump, you don't want to be known as the company that blacklists conservatives. I'm just saying. So good for her. And maybe we'll see her again in Star Wars. Congratulations. Going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.